When dealing with your personality and the way that you see yourself, has it been difficult to see who you truly are when looking through the eyes of America? Or is that something that you've never really cared about? Have you always been your own person, or since you've been here, have you been affected by the way that everyone wants you to see yourself, or the way that you see who Femi is?
Wow. High school here was brutal. It was very brutal for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to either fit in or blend in for 2 years really badly, because me being different stood out incredibly. I was the kid that they sat around the lunch table, 9th grade year, and they was like, yo, he from England, yo, he from England, yo, check out the way he speak. And then they'll sit around me in group, and they'll say something. I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, no, don't speak bad, oh. And you could tell they hadn't been farther than the neighborhood.
Right.
So that was just like, you know, where'd you get it from Africa? You guys, you rode an elephant? You know, shit like that. But that's what they knew. And, you know, once again, name brand, everything was just not something I had and I wasn't going to have. So I was the butt of a lot of jokes. I was a kid that if you walk into a class, if I walked into a classroom, all you had to say was, yo, look at Femi, and the whole class would just burst into laughter. And I think by 11th grade, I just got over it. Like, there was nothing I could do to change it. And I think 10th grade, yeah, I was like really, I hated being at home, because my home life, where I stayed at home, sucked. And then school sucked. And I went to Walbrook Senior High School.
Wow.
Early 90s. So I used to walk from Walbrook all the way to Anderson Village. Just that was the only time that I had to myself that I felt fine. I dreaded being home. I dreaded being in school.
Being as unique as you were at Walbrook High School, I can't even imagine what that must have been like for you.
No. It was rough. It was rough.
Wow.
But I got over it. You know, I mean, I think 11th grade year, something in me clicked, and I didn't care anymore. Like, I clearly remember 11th grade year, I didn't care anymore. And the minute I didn't care anymore was when everybody started saying, yo, only little Femi can do that. Only little England can do that. You know, like, whatever I had on or however I behaved, it turns out only I can do that. But I didn't care anymore. Like, I really didn't care. And the minute I didn't care, what the attention I was getting shifted into a different type of attention. And
do you know what clicked in your head? Or?
I think that I just wasn't concerned with what people thought of me. I think I just officially accepted that this is what it was going to be. Well, I wasn't that kid that, you know, there's some children, there's some young people, I mean, we all know them, they didn't have things that made them acceptable, so they went and sold drugs and got those things to be acceptable. As superficial as that sounds, it might have worked in a lot of cases. I wasn't a kid that could go sell drugs. Like, that wasn't a reality to me that, you know what, I'm gonna go home, get a pack and just go hustle on the block. I didn't have a home like that allowed me to even, for that to be a factor. So my reality was, and to me it just wasn't realistic. I had already lived where people didn't have anything, so I didn't even get what people were so pressed about.
Right.
But nothing was gonna change. Like, the clothes I had on my back were the clothes I had, and whether they were bought for me, you know, that was just the reality. And I was like, you know, whatever. I remember 10th grade year being real suicidal about my life because I couldn't handle the attention. You know, it was constant. I was too obvious. And I remember, and then it didn't help being home. There was no reinforcement. Like, yo, it's okay, because my home life wasn't built at that time. Wasn't built that my family would be aware that, yo, I'm so different. It's hard being here because of where I come from and where I came from before that. That it was so hard to adjust and be accepted. You know, I'm like, not saying I didn't have friends, but even in those circles, I still stood out.
Right.
So I think that by 11th grade, it was kind of like, well, this is it. So I got over it, or I started liking myself a little differently. I can't really call exactly what that specific moment was. I remember there was a moment in high school where I came home so freaking distraught that I poured so much garbage into a cup, like drain of fluid, bleach, and I sat there with it like I was going to drink this joint. Because it was all about, I just felt my life sucked. You know, it just sucked. And it was not just the attention to school, it was just how everything had. Like to this very day, I can tell you why I had foster parents in England.
Right.
Like to this very moment, I can tell you that. But that played a part in how I thought growing up. Like, I had all these questions about my life that I had no answers for. About my personal life.
Right.
That no one would deliver answers. It's like none of my business to a degree. So, younger year, I got over it, or I just got super angry and just found another way to deal with it. I drew a lot, and my drawings, even to this day, if you see those drawings from that era, you know, it's very disturbing. But that's how I got it out. I would draw and write some really cryptic, demonic, evil, suicidal thing next to it. I drew a lot of death, a lot of demons. I had a lot of just dark stuff in me. It just came out in my drawings, artwork on tabletops. It came out on. I draw on everything, anything at any point in time, and that's how I just dealt with it. And I was eager to draw. If I saw an image in my head, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to get this on paper somewhere, or on a table somewhere, or something somewhere. And that's what it was. I think I followed through that. And I was always in the comic book to say, talked to a therapist once, and she told me that when children get into a lot of things, but it's a great escape. You know, obviously I never grew out of my great escape, but I resorted to daydreaming about being a superhero or a villain at any point in time. I was, as a teenager, when everyone in Walbrook, girls were having babies in 10th grade, you know, 9th and 10th grade. People were talking about money and being on the block and being a certain way. I was thinking about, yo, I can't wait to get this comic book. I can't wait to scrape up a few dollars to get this comic book, or get that comic book, follow this story, and follow that story, and get action figures, you know, stuff like that. Like, that's where my head was at.